City Council just voted to lower the minimum wage for delivery drivers in hopes of helping workers and restaurant owners. And we've talked to people on both sides, with some saying that they are on board with the changes, while others say that the law was never the problem. The customers ordering food from delivery apps have seen an uptick in prices. This comes after a pay ordinance went into effect in January, and now some delivery drivers say this has led to a drop in orders.
You know, a lot of people are happy with the pay they got and everything was working good, but now that they only get one delivery a day or two deliveries a day, that really cuts into their income.
The new law gave delivery drivers a pay increase of $26.40 an hour plus mileage before tips. Seattle City Council's revisions of the law would lower the minimum wage requirement for workers.
That sounds great. It really does. All these things sound great in theory, but the common sense kicks in about like how much are people willing to spend for receiving food. So the food is already being increased in price because of the wages there. So now the delivery guy, his wage is also being increased. So of course, all these wage increases is going to have to come out of somewhere. I'm just saying. I could be wrong. It could come out of straight thin air. Who knows? I don't know. But they usually got to come out from somewhere. Usually it's the consumers. It's just, I mean, that's the way things get paid. People pay for the service or the product. So if you raised, you know, the cost of that product, yeah, it's going to come out from somewhere. The person got to pay more. But there is always a cap on how much people are really willing to pay, or the majority. So the higher you go, you start losing more and more people that are willing to pay. It's just common damn sense, but let's continue.
To get paid just under $20 an hour plus 35 cents a mile. But not all drivers we spoke to are on board.
I can pay bills now without, working extra hours. And that's something people don't talk about, is you don't have to work as long to get the money to pay your bills.
Actually, that's what they talk about all the time. People don't want to work as much and make the same amount of money. This nobody talking. What you're saying is 100% wrong. That's everybody. This is literally the reason why the whole law was made. So I am sure that they understand that concept. The problem is that it's not going to be for the majority. When you raise it to a certain price, you're going to end up losing a lot of people. So that whole theory is not going to work for the majority. So unless if the politicians are trying to make laws for just a few, this doesn't make any damn sense.
Restaurant owners like Becky Yoshitani argues that if changes aren't made, there will be long-term impacts.
I'm concerned that the longer this goes on, those people will have found alternatives to ordering from restaurants.
The funny thing is that when these apps came up, they were hurting restaurants. They were. They still, in a way, they still are. But restaurants learned to accept that this is the way that people want to order food, so we end up taking a big chunk of our profits and giving it to these apps, because the people love convenience and they use the apps, and you kind of in a crossroads. Even if you offer delivery from your own restaurant, you're most likely not ever going to use it because people are going directly to the apps to order food for delivery. So isn't this kind of like a weird thing now? Now we're like hoping that that the law has changed, that people end up using apps.
Nonprofit Drive Forward that was funded by gig workers says by reducing the pay, more people will be willing to use the food apps once again.
And that should allow the companies, the delivery companies, to reduce their fees, and that should bring demand back to the apps and offer more trips.
Now, we did reach out to delivery apps like Grubhub and DoorDash, who are in support of the changes, and they tell me that they applaud the City Council for working to fix the law. Now, the revised legislation will go up to full council on May 21st. But for now, reporting in Seattle, Karina Vargas.
Well, there you have it. We just made a video about the wage being increased a couple days ago, and now we're making a video about another city that already increased their wages for a specific industry. Now they're going back and saying that this is a problem. This business now is not, well, this industry is really not doing so well, and the people that we were trying to help, or supposedly trying to help, because that's always the whole thing. They're always trying to help someone. But this one was so bad, apparently, that they are going back and changing their law or their policy, which they usually never do, but that just kind of tells you how bad it is. So basically, like I keep on saying, this is a small margin on every industry or some industries have a bigger margin to raise their prices, right? And people won't really bat an eye. But food is one of those industries, and almost anything that has to do with food, unless if you're like in those elite, like 5-star, Michelin star restaurants, people are willing to pay more money. But again, it's only a small amount of, not the majority are able to really go to these restaurants to begin with. So when you have these apps that are really targeted for the majority of people, and you're raising it, you're basically outpricing the majority, because the majority does not want to pay 3 times the amount for the cost of food. They're already paying a lot. So I don't know where this idea came from, or how did it get passed from the beginning. It's almost $27 an hour for the person that is already delivering the food that people are complaining that is already overpriced. So now you're gonna get overpriced delivery charges on top of that. I mean, it's just mayhem. This whole thing doesn't make any damn sense to me. But yeah, it is what it is. Look, leave your comments below. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave anything as far as if you don't agree with me, which I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of people that don't agree with me, and always will just jump to like capitalism is evil and all this other stuff. Just leave your comments below and give me an explanation of why you think what I'm saying is wrong, because I could be wrong. I'm not saying I feel like I'm right, but it's also my opinion, my theories. They just happen to be right in the last couple of years. That's all. Peace later.